So heroes save the world on a regular basis, and while some are more well known than others, some are just hated. Be it by fans or within their own universes, these heroes just can't catch a break. I'm Sasha Wood, and these are the top 10 most hated superheroes. I'm gonna try to focus on in-universe hate, so let's get started. Number 10. The Survivor from Irredeemable. Once one half of a pair of crime-fighting twins, all that changes when, spoilers, his twin is killed by the rampaging Plutonian, which reveals a secret. The siblings were sharing their power, and now it all flows into the surviving twin, Carrie, who renames himself the Survivor. Just one problem. All of this power definitely goes to his head, and he quickly sets up a cruel regime, forcing supervillains to reform and join him and demanding gratitude from the world. From hailed as a potential savior to feared all within moments, the Survivor is not at the top of anyone's list of heroes they want to be. Number 9. The Hulk. Bruce Banner doesn't mean to wreak havoc while in his alternate form of the Hulk, but it happens, especially early on when transforming rendered him into a completely mindless monster. The amount of casualties and property damage left in his wake means that the public at large have a very negative perception of him, and neither the Hulk nor the Doctor himself feel it's unearned. Number 8. Aquaman. While perhaps hated is harsh, for Aquaman's fate is actually a bit sadder. He's just plagued by being mocked for most of his existence since his inception. Is it the campy costume? The seemingly silly even though they're actually incredibly useful powers? Was it his original cookie cutter appearance? It seems like half of his updates revolve around making him edgier and darker so people will take him seriously. Remember the late 90s when he lost a hand and earned a hook and then grew a huge beard and rockstar length hair? And now he's the Beats version of Khal Drogo. Even so, he is still plagued by the idea that he is useless, which simply isn't true. I'm sorry, Aquaman. Maybe one day the world will universally see how cool you really are. Number 7. The X-Men. So it's no secret that the X-Men have largely been used as an allegory for different socio-political struggles. As a result, there is a fair bit of anti-mutant sentiment in the Marvel Universe, and many of the more bigoted have a lot to say about a superhero team of mutants. The Friends of Humanity is a very vocal group, just to name one. No more mutants is one of the tagline chants in some circles. As a result, the X-Men have to be careful how they handle situations so as not to create even more bad press for themselves. It makes saving the world even more difficult. Number 6. Omni-Man. One of the prominent protectors of Earth to, get ready, spoilers, it was thought that the Omni-Man had come to Earth from a peaceful race and had settled into life, only for it to be found out that he was an advanced scout for his people who were slowly taking over the galaxy by infiltrating the populace and using their own offspring as additional soldiers. So yeah, from a protector to someone who has killed some of the planet's other heroes and betrayed the values everyone thought they stood for. That's definitely a reason to go from being beloved to hated. Number 5. Booster Gold. Booster Gold hails from the future, 25th century Gotham to be exact, and arrived back in time with tales of his prowess and superhero career. The only problem? It wasn't true. Michael John Carter came from a down-on-their-luck family and worked as a janitor at a museum, where he stole some property from one of the exhibits. He did this with the help of a security robot who later became his sidekick named Skeets. At the start, Booster Gold is arrogant, an average crime fighter, and very much in it for the money and sponsorships. This makes him an annoyance to many of the other more justice-oriented heroes. Over time he evolved, which gave him a nice arc which showed him coming to identify what it truly means to be a hero, and in fact sometimes having to pretend to be more shallow than he actually was. But there is a tendency during each relaunch to reset his personality to money grubbing. Let Booster Gold grow, people. Number 4. The Green Hornet. The Green Hornet has terrible press similar to Spider-Man. However, unlike Spider-Man, it's by his own design. In order to infiltrate gangs and take down organized crime, while in his civilian identity, the Hornet, Britt Reed, uses his paper to run stories about how dangerous the Hornet is, and how he's a menace in the criminal underworld. While this doesn't make him a very liked public figure, it does wonders for his street cred. Reed's clearly been able to disassociate from his superhero persona pretty hard if he can handle the world thinking he's a master criminal. Good for him. Number 3. Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern. Guy Gardner appeared in Green Lantern Volume 2, number 59 in 1968. Presented as an alternate choice for the Green Lantern ring had Hal Jordan not been closest. Initially he was a nice guy and a teacher, and there wasn't too much noteworthy about him. However, in the 1980s, the character was abruptly altered into a parody of the hyper-masculine, red-blooded American male stereotype. This occurred following a head injury. After that, he became an abrasive loudmouth who, while people could stand him, it became a question of in small doses. He was always quick to question authority and not so keen to follow orders, which is not a great trait for a Green Lantern. He was also famously knocked out with one punch by Batman. GARDNER. Most people know someone like him, at least to a small extent. He's still heroic, he just doesn't come with all the other usually associated traits. Number 2. Cyclops. That's right, he gets his own number. This one tends to be a bit more on the fan side than on the in-universe side, but really it happens in both. And don't get triggered, I actually really like Scott. But yeah, sometimes he can be an uptight jerk. Scott has been training to be the leader of the X-Men pretty much since its inception. It's a role he feels is his due, and he's determined to hang on to it, and doesn't take any challenges to it or his leadership style very well. Don't joke on his team, don't offer to help him on his team, don't talk to his girl on his team, and definitely do not question his authority, especially if he establishes a secret kill squad without telling anybody. Scott gets the job done, but most of the team don't exactly want to go out and grab a beer with him after. It's a lonely road being the leader, but Scott makes it a bit more lonely than he has to. And number 1, I think you can guess, it's Spider-Man. Poor Spidey, he just can't catch a break. For large segments of his history, and still somewhat to this day, it's just built into the character at this point, a huge portion of his story has been that he has terrible PR. People view him as a menace. The press in his city actively mischaracterizes him and blames him for the very disasters he's trying to prevent. It got to the point where other heroes were wary of working with him because his rep was so bad, and he constantly has to prove himself. So not only is he having to face some of the most dangerous villains and having his loved ones constantly be put in peril, he doesn't even get to read or watch nice things about himself. Life is cruel. Thankfully over time, Spidey has come to have some great friends and a loving support system, so at least he has people he can complain to. So those were the top 10 most hated superheroes. Were they who you expected? Are there heroes you hate more? Share your most hated heroes down below along with why you hate them. I look forward to reading your answers. I'm Sasha Wood, thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and turn on that bell notification so you never miss another nerdy list. See you guys.